All right, Ohio political news coming to you live on a Monday night. Woo! All right, so it's snowing all different colors. We have diversity snow here in Ohio. And how you doing there, Timothy? All the way from New York.
We got diversity snow here too in the central New York.
Lots of diversity snow. Just keep it coming. Keep it coming. All right, we got a lot to talk about, and let's just...
You know when we get diversity snow, Joe? We usually get diversity snow about March. You got the nice white snow, and then all the snow piles are all kind of grimy on top. That's our diversity snow in March.
Hey, let's talk here for a minute now. We're with the MAG Institute, so thanks again for being a part of the show here. So let's talk about this lone gunman who ambushed 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C., killed one, and he's critically injured the other one. And that poor National Guardman, he could die as well.
Yeah, Staff Sergeant Wolf.
Yeah, the Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, 24 years old, from West Virginia. And then the woman who died...
Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, yeah.
Sarah Beckstrom, she was 20. She was also from West Virginia. And she died from this gunman just coming up and shooting her and stuff. So,
but Joe, let's look. Let's not lose sight of the most important thing. This was a lone wolf.
Uh-huh.
He was on our radar, and it's our fault because we broke his mind in Afghanistan. So it's really all this is all our fault, Joe.
No, it's your fault, not mine. It's we got to blame it on somebody. We're gonna blame
it's
it on.
unbelievable. They come out. Even Fox News. Fox News is one of the most.
Yeah.
Just pushing the false narrative. Did a whole 30 minutes today while I was cooking dinner. My housemate had it on, and a whole 30 minutes on how first he was a lone wolf, and then we broke his mind in Afghanistan, and basically it boiled down to this is all our fault. The hell it is. Get them all out. Every single one of them.
Well, it's
every
not...
Jiffy Pop Top up in Minnesota, every Afghani, wherever they are, all these people that came in unvetted, gone, bye.
You know what's interesting with this is that they're saying the motive was mental health. It had nothing to do with terrorism. It's just mental health.
Oh, of course. Mental health, lone wolf, on our radar, all the usual nonsense.
Yeah, paranoia, depression, deportation fears. He was afraid Trump was going to kick his rear end out of here, so he has to go and kill a bunch of these National Guardsmen. Unbelievable.
Joe, I'm not always afraid of being deported, but when I am, I go out and I kill 2 National Guardsmen.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, was that the DHS had released records calling him an unvetted terrorist. The DHS had called him an unvetted terrorist.
Hey, Joe, here's an interesting little tidbit of information.
Yeah.
Do you know what the penalty is for being an illegal alien in Afghanistan?
Yeah, that probably cut your head off, right?
Immediate beheading, exactly.
Yeah.
His head would already be rolling down Constitution Avenue if this was Afghanistan. But because, we're the United States, he's going to get due process, and it's going to be an 18 to 27-year ordeal and all the 9 yards.
Yeah, so I think that what Trump has done now is, if I'm not mistaken, he's really put the kibosh on these third world countries with the immigration. So let's see what it says here. He announced on Truth Social that there's a permanent pause on migration from all third world countries to allow recovery for the U.S. system. This includes terminating millions of Biden-era admissions. See, this is all Biden. I mean, Biden just let these people in nonstop. Joe. Yeah, go ahead.
Jasmine Crockett and Hakeem Jeffries and Chucky Schumer and Boasberg and all the rest of them, there's nothing they can do about it because there's a specific provision in the current Immigration Act that says that the president has unilateral discretion at any time to bar people that he deems to be a threat to the nation. He gets to determine who's in the class, who's out of the classification. He has unilateral authority in this issue, and there's nothing they can do to stop him. And this is exactly, people say, is that what you voted for? This is exactly what we voted for.
Oh, 100%. I'm so sick of hearing about people that said, this is what you voted for. Yes, exactly what I voted for. And
How many times we got to say yes?
Yeah, and his poll numbers are going to start to rise now because he's saying, enough of this immigration stuff. We're going to start vetting. We're going to put the pause. We're going to put the kibosh on it for a while. And we just can't let this continue. And can you imagine... Timothy, can you imagine what this country would be like right now if Kamala Harris had won? The open borders we'd have so many millions of these unvetted illegals from all these third world countries just coming in here. It would be a complete and total disaster. Now, I want to get your thoughts on this. What is it that we always say it's like? It's the elitists. It's the globalists. They're trying to destroy this country. And they're doing it to Europe right now as well. Europe is in big, big trouble. You got more Muslims in a lot of these major cities than you do Europeans. I don't know, and their governments are allowing those Muslims to continue to go into Europe. Biden would have allowed it, or Kamala Harris would have allowed it. It's wide open, drug dealers, everything. What's going on here, in your thoughts on that?
Well, it's the Red-Green Alliance. It's Marxism and Islam. And the Marxists think that they're using the Muslims, and it's just the opposite. All these idiots, Keir Starmer, the Joe Biden administration, whoever it was that was running the auto pen, it was, Ursula von der Leyen over in Europe, over in the EU. And
just stop for 1 second. 1 second. That auto pen is the most ridiculous. Somebody got a hold of the auto pen and just started giving pardons out by the thousands.
Oh, yeah, and they're all invalid.
Yeah.
So the Ketanji Brown, though, there's nothing that can be done about that because any constitutional defect in the appointment was cured once the Senate ratified her. But the reason that the president is bringing this out is to get in the public mind. She's a DEI hire. She's completely unqualified, and she never should have been appointed. Just marginalize her. Look. All you have to do nobody does a better job of marginalizing Ketanji Jackson Brown than Ketanji Jackson Brown every single time she opens her mouth. I mean, she says things from the bench that are some of the stupidest things I've ever heard in Supreme Court oral arguments. And it's so bad that even Justice Sotomayor, who a lot of us call Sotomayor because she's less than, she's no bright light. She basically told Ketanji, "Shut up! You're making us look bad."
That's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad when they're telling you to shut up. You're making us look bad. I've lost all respect. At one time, I'd say maybe 20 years ago, I was like armored by the Supreme Court. I just thought, man, you had to have all these credentials to be a Supreme Court judge, and you had to be so smart, and you had to have an encyclopedia mind and everything. And I'm just finding out you got one loony bird after another. It's a disgrace, a total disgrace. And they really were scraping the bottom of the barrel with her. All right, we got ourselves a chat here. By the way, yes, if you want to chat would bring you into the conversation. I'd love to have you. You two are speaking truth to power. Great. Oh, good. Thank you. Somebody said we're speaking the truth. We're speaking the truth. Okay. Thank you. And keep up. Keep up with the chats. We'd love to hear what else you have to say. All right, I want to move on to another topic here, this H-1B visas. It's interesting because Nikki Haley's son, her son, Generation Z, we've had some Generation Z young guys on this show, and I'm always trying to get them on. So Generation Z, I'm really intrigued with that age group, the youngest generation, everything. And how they all went for Trump. It was amazing how they all went for Trump. And then just talking to them as to what it was why they went with Trump, why they finally said to heck with the Democrats and everything. There's basically they couldn't take the DEI and guys being women and playing in women's sports and, the whole thing, the feminization of the men and all that kind of thing. They couldn't take it. But here's something I want to get your thoughts on H-1B visas. Because a lot of them have mentioned this. I know that there was one who mentioned it, and he was an engineer at Dayton University and stuff, and said that this was what was killing him. But listen to this on Fox here.
The thing that has to be discussed is the fundamental issues around this whole entire debate. is that America fundamentally is not an economic zone. We're not some global storefront. Americans should not be treated as second-class citizens in their own country because federal policy allows billion-dollar corporations to hire foreign workers at under-market wages instead of paying American workers full wages. So,
all right, so the big thing is you can bring in these H-1B visa people from India or wherever, whatever country, and you can pay them a lot less. Now, we have a governor here, or we have Vivek Ramaswamy, who's running for governor, I should say. He's running for governor, and he built a big empire. He had $1 billion industry and stuff that he built. And I think you know who Vivek Ramaswamy is. But his big thing was, the H-1B visas. He used that extensively, and he's like, that's a great thing. It ain't a great thing because it's taking all these jobs away from the Generation Z Americans.
Yeah, never lose sight of the fact that every single thing the left says, does, or believes is either a lie or is predicated on a lie. And the H-1B visa program is no different. The program exists to bring in foreign technical workers that have expertise that American workers don't, so that we don't fall behind technologically. That's not what's happening. They're giving these H-1B visas to low-wage workers that are boxing our workers who are fully capable of doing the work, boxing them out of the job market, which long-term will preclude their ability to advance through the economy, right? One of the things that it's insidious because everything on the left, they've got these interlocking platforms. So the NGOs interlocked with the government, interlocked with the universities, interlocked with the tech barons. Stanford University has a cap on white male admits. You can't have more than 20% of a class being white males at Stanford anymore. Okay?
Wait a minute, 20%? No more than 20% white?
No more than 20% of the class can be white males.
Wow.
And, as one email revealed, I don't care if they're Spanish royalty, I don't care if they're blonde-haired and blue-eyed, as long as they don't roll their R's, or as long as they don't control their R's, as long as they can roll their R's, they're Hispanic and they're going to be one of the quotas. And we're seeing this spill over into crime statistics, Joe. The old adage in computer science was gig out, garbage in, garbage out. It applies for everything with regard to data. So these crime statistics, you've got Hispanics, being... And yes, Hispanics can be any race. You can be black Hispanic, white Hispanic, whatever. But you've got black Hispanics and Indian Hispanics being declared white. You've got black guys being declared white. How does a black guy get listed as Caucasian or get listed as white? The statistics are completely corrupted. And as bad as they are, they'd be a whole lot worse if they were accurate, Joe.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, this H-1B visa stuff. Let me just say what Nikki Haley's son had to say. He says that my friend group all graduated with great degrees from college. Not one of them has a job, not one. It's frustrating because they did everything they were supposed to do. They put in the time, the effort, the money. They got educated. College is tough. You get into some of these... All colleges are tough, and then you get some of the super colleges that are super tough. I mean, you're spending 4 years of your life basically with a book in front of your face.
I got to correct you on that issue. Mm-hmm. Colleges like Harvard, Penn, Yale, Princeton, they're hard to get into. It's become like Tokyo University, almost impossible to get into, and a cakewalk once you're there. They will do everything to keep you from flunking out because they want their retention statistics to remain high for their certifications. Believe it or not, Harvard, Yale, Princeton need to get certified by, the Middle Atlantic State Board, just like every other college does. So they want their retention statistics to remain elevated. They want their graduation statistics to remain elevated. So you get a situation where, and this is going back 20 years, Joe. This isn't any brand new problem. 20 years ago, Harvard graduated a class where over 80% received Latin honors. Now, for those that don't know, Latin honors are cum laude, magna cum laude, summa cum laude. Cum laude is supposed to be for the top 10% in the class. Magna cum laude is supposed to be for the top 5% in the class. And summa cum laude, with highest honors, is supposed to be the top 1% of the class. Well, they had 80% of the class getting at least cum laude. So the top 10% of the class is 80% of the class?
Yeah.
And what it did is it completely devalued the value of a Harvard diploma in the marketplace. And so, no, I think, quite frankly, a lot of state schools might be more rigorous than Harvard in that regard, because at the same time this was going on, Joe, at the same time all the grade inflation was going on, the students kept getting stupider and stupider. They gave the 1913 or 1915 Iowa State high school examination to a bunch of Harvard seniors. Again, this is going back 10, 15, 20 years.
No.
And they couldn't pass it. So if that was before this DEI crisis in education, before they had a plagiarist as their president, just imagine the quality of the Harvard student today.
The inflation and everything.
There are two components to this problem. Okay, the first is we need to outlaw hedge funds and groups like BlackRock from purchasing residential real estate. Need an outright ban on purchase of single-family homes by these investment cartels. Okay, that's number one. Number two, Joe, there's one solution to almost all of our problems. To the food cost problem, to the overcrowded ER problem, to the job market problem, and to the housing problem. And that's getting rid of the 20 to 40 million, maybe 50 million illegals in this country. Just in the last year of his administration, the Biden administration gave out more than 2 million Social Security numbers to illegals. Every single going to illegals need to be canceled with immediate effect. They'll deport themselves. They already have by the millions, but we need them gone by the tens of millions, Joe. But solving those two...
We've got 200 of them now in Ohio. We're number 5 in the country. And they just keep putting them up. And at first, I didn't have a problem with it. Who cares? We're bringing industry into Ohio. It's great and everything. Until I started digging into it. Last night on the podcast show, these things, these data centers, first of all, they're tracking everything we do, these data centers. And they're so behemoth. They are so large. It boggles the imagination as to just how big they are. And the water, the electricity, everything they need to run these data centers. Now, I was thinking, okay, great. We need jobs here in Ohio. Bring it on. But these data centers, a typical data center only employs about 50 or 60 people. That's nothing. You got more.
Yeah, the jobs are in building them.
Okay, you got a lot of people that have.
And once they're built, there's no more job.
And then that job is gone. And then it sits there, and these Microsoft and Meta and all these big Google, all these big companies, they're going to continue to make fantastic money, but they're not paying. Number one, they're not paying any sales tax here in Ohio, which is why we were able to just scarf them in. No sales tax. The second thing is property taxes. They're not paying any property taxes. Okay, so they got cheap land in Ohio. They're going to gathering up some cheap land in Ohio, not paying any property tax. A typical facility might have 50 or 60 employees. Whoop-de-doo. Like you said, everything is building the facility, but after it's been built, that's nothing. So there's no base for the community. Like there's no money going to the schools or the fire or the police or the roads or anything like that. They're making a fortune. They will be making a fortune, and I don't understand, now that I'm looking into it, I don't understand why the legislature is so big on this here in Ohio.
Well, Joe, I'm sure it has nothing to do with any campaign donations that were received. I'm sure that had nothing to do with anything.
Think about it for a minute, though. Yeah, because the legislator in that, they're pushing all these through. It's kind of secretive. Nobody even knows it's happening. It goes to some board, some board agency, not really through the legislature. that okays all this kind of stuff. I'm going to start looking into it much more deeply because it's very sinister, the way, in my opinion. But what are we getting out of it? We're not taxing the data that they're collecting. And
well, it's like the people of Buffalo, right? New York State and Erie County are paying for a new Buffalo Bills stadium. Doesn't even have a roof, so they can't have concerts in it in the winter. They can't have a Super Bowl. They can't, use it as a revenue generator when the Bills aren't playing there. The taxpayers are on the hook. Billionaires own the team, and basically they just extorted the state and the county into doing it, saying, "Oh, well, we'll just leave Buffalo." And so, of course, they built the stadium, but it's the same kind of thing. They're not getting the taxes out of it that they should. They're not getting, a lot of things. And believe it or not, the Bill Stadium provides more jobs than the data center does. You got all the ticket takers, you got the concessionaires, you got the ushers, you got.
And then you have 50,000 or 80,000 people going to these games. You don't have 50 or 80,000 people visiting a data center, Right. I don't get it.
That's what I mean.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get what's so great about it.
Well,
as far as generating any money for Ohio, I don't get it.
Well, your legislature wanted the business, but it didn't look carefully at would the business generate jobs. It'll generate some construction jobs for sure.
Yeah, for a little while.
But
after that, forget it. So they're going to be building the largest one is going to be
clearly,
built.
Joe, the answer, of course, why didn't I think of this? Oh, if you want permanent construction jobs, Joe, you just got to build more data centers. I'm joking, but I'm not. That's literally how these guys think.
I don't know. So we got the world's largest data center coming in New Albany, Ohio. It's going to be built next year.
That's northeast of Columbus.
This sucker has 1 gigawatt capacity, which is the equivalent of 850,000 homes. That's how much electricity it's going to be sucking up. 850,000 homes, the equivalent of. That's a lot of electricity they're sucking up there. But I was also looking, the following year, they're going to be building one in Louisiana that's going to be twice the size of the one in Ohio. And that will be
and that doesn't make sense to me because as bad as Ohio's summers are, they're nothing. I mean, Louisiana has 10 months of miserable humidity. And I mean 10 months of miserable humidity. Mm-hmm. And one thing computers can't take, and all these, the data centers are just a bunch of, racks and racks and racks of tens of thousands of blade servers. They generate tremendous heat in and of themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're dealing with outside temperatures and humidity, it's just placing an additional burden on the HVAC system, which is even more electricity demand. That doesn't make sense in Louisiana, to my mind. But
well, they're looking for cheap land. They're looking to suck up the electricity. Louisiana's doing the same thing. No sales tax, no property taxes, from what I understand. So it's.
If we're not giving property taxes to corporations that aren't paying any income taxes, let's knock off the property tax for regular Joes, that lunch pal guys that work hard and actually bring something to the state. Maybe you ought to have a property tax event out there next weekend.
Oh yeah, right. We are having a property tax event. Monday, December 8th. Monday, December 8th at the Thirsty Cowboy. What a name, Thirsty Cowboy. So we'll see what happens. But let me get your thought on this real quick. Maybe we'll wrap it up with this one here. This is out of Portland, Oregon. Now, what do we have coming up? We have the Christmas season coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Portland, I know that they are woke, they're liberal, you name it. But they would not use the word Christmas, okay? So it was a tree lighting ceremony. They would not use the word Christmas tree lighting ceremony.
Yeah, this has been going on since the 80s, this war on Christmas. Bill Bennett, when he was Secretary of Education, railed against it under the second Reagan administration. Look, these people, All I'm going to say is that each and every day we get to choose which team we're on. And these people are just, we pray for their conversion to join our team, and every day they choose to not join our team. So they're going to have to live with the decision they're making, because once time's up, that decision's final. There are no do-overs.
Yeah, right. I mean, what are they thinking? So
good luck on your exit interview. They don't think there's going to be an exit interview. They got another think coming.
They really do. Yeah, a lot of people don't think about, but nobody's here forever. That's obvious, but nobody ever says that. Death is something that happens to the other guy. It didn't happen to you.
Yeah.
You know.
Until it does.
Until it does, then it's like, oh, man, what the heck's going on? But
my father, God love me, loves reading the Irish sports pages.
Uh-huh.
You know what the Irish sports pages are?
No.
The obituary section of the newspaper. Ha! I outlived her. I got him by 3 years.
Oh.
He's just turned 90 in June, and he's still kicking. He's going strong. He doesn't have a single grade school or high school classmate left. Wow. All of his camping buddies are gone. He's outlived almost everybody. He was the youngest in his family, so he's the last in his family.
Wow.
But he's still going strong. The other guys, you see them dropping off 73, 74. Ha, piker.
Well, the other thing with this story, real quick, is that they had somebody there waving a Palestinian flag in front of the Christmas tree, saying "Free Palestine, Free Palestine," and they were, chanting that over and over. And there was,
from the river to the sea, we got to get these Jews gone. Don't you know that joke? Come on, give it the program.
And then they had a bunch of native tribes people circling the Christmas tree. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, the tree.
Indigenous peoples, please.
But how could you be that despicable and not even use the word? And they deliberately would not use the word Christmas tree. They said it was
they can't say the word Christ. Demons can't say the word Christ. So there's that.
So did you have a good Thanksgiving and all that?
Oh, it was nice and quiet up here. Got a little snow, which always makes me happy. I literally wait all summer for autumn and winter. Spring is a period of mourning, and summer I just have to get through.
Uh-huh. So, okay. All right.
I'm actually not kidding. I don't do well with humidity. I could never live in Ohio. It's too far south.
Wow.
I do want to give a big shout out to the best mascot in college football, though. Brutus had one of the best trolls I've ever seen at the big, what do they call it up in the Loud House up in Ann Arbor?
Oh, Michigan, up in Michigan, huh? Okay.
It had just lightly snowed. He did, like, with 2 train tracks with his feet, right? He did the script Ohio, and it was perfect. And then he jumped from the O to dot the I, and he was doing the twist on dotting the I. It was great. It was the best troll ever. And then he went and he did a big X through the M because that end zone said Michigan. So
taking his life in his hands there.
Well, it's good for Ohio State to win every 7 years.
That's funny. Yeah, that's something else. Well, I love college football. Really can't get enough of it. I really enjoy it.
Well, there's something we should talk about, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 2 things. First of all, with regard to that, Jason Day was really classy after the game. He said, we got to win humbly. It's like, yeah, that's a guy that was just staring down the barrel of a double-barrel 12-gauge. Because natty or no natty last year, he'd never beaten Michigan. And he had that monkey on his back. Yeah. And I guarantee you, even they're ranked number 1 right now, and even if he'd won another national championship this year, they would have fired him if he didn't win that game. So he was grateful.
Oh, you're talking about last year. You're talking about last year, right?
No, I'm talking about this year. They would have fired him this year, even with the natty last year. And if he wins another natty this year, it wouldn't matter. They would have fired him if he didn't beat Michigan this year. So
they might have.
Which gets you to Lane Kiffin. And everybody's coming down on Lane Kiffin. And I'm up here saying, don't hate the player, hate the game. They fired Brian Kelly. And they said they'd never sign a contract again with such a big payout. Brian walked away with $54 million. Kiffin's going to get $72.8 million as a buyout on his contract. The contract's worth $91 million, Joe, for 7 years. He's bringing all his players, and he's going to get unlimited nil money. I think this LSU situation next year, especially if they win the national championship, people are going to say, wait a second, this is crazy. Number one, you're giving kids millions of dollars with no performance requirements, right?
Mm-hmm.
Syracuse invested a lot of money in a kid from LSU named Ricky Collins. Ricky Collins was so bad that when our starting quarterback went down, he started a couple games and was so bad that he's now second string to our third string quarterback, who's been the starter for the last few games. And of course, Syracuse, they won. They were 3-1, and then they ended up 3-9. I think it was disastrous season. But the point is, Ricky Collins got all his nil money, and he doesn't have to give it back. So I think the way to reform nil is, I do believe that the players should be compensated because they're bringing in millions, if not tens of millions.
Yeah, they
got to
get compensated. Most of them aren't going to go to the NFL or anything like that.
Right.
They do have to get
I have no problem with
compensated.
compensating these kids. I have a problem with how they're compensated and when. I think the money should be put into a trust, and they get access to that trust after they've been graduated. You got to get your college degree in order to get your nil money. You can get like 10% a year, but we're giving these kids millions of dollars, and look at what happens in the pros. Every time some baseball player or football player signs a massive contract, what do? Well, they're fat and happy now, and they have a horrible season.
Yep.
It's the same thing in college, and one of the things we're forgetting, Joe, these are 19, 20, 21-year-old kids.
Yeah.
You know, give them a $50,000
But they're 19, 20,
or so, put the
19,
rest
20,
in
and
trust.
21-year-olds that can really run really, really fast and are really, really big and really, really strong.
Yeah, but I'm saying compensate them, but give them $50,000 a year through school or whatever, and put the rest in trust.
Well, the agents get a piece of the pie, so the agents want
to
build it up as high as they can.
Well, like I said, I got no problem with that. What I have a problem with is giving the kids all the money while they're in school with no performance requirements attached to it, no graduation requirement attached to it. I think there needs to be some reform, and I think this Lane Kiffin situation is what's going to trigger the reform.
Yeah, a lot of the kids, they're not going for the college degree. A lot of them are either to get to the NFL or now, just with that NIL, they can make a lot of money. They make a lot of money, more money than they could with that degree. So, as we were just talking about, so many kids graduating, they can't get a job today.
Well, you see, it's their problem for not being a world-class athlete, right?
And right.
They screwed up. Hey, kid, you screwed up. You studied. You didn't work that.
You idiot. You studied instead of...
you didn't work on going to the left.
The problem with sports, though, is you're always after just the cream of the crop, okay? So no matter how good you are, if everybody is as good as you, then you're not cream of the crop. You got to find that guy who's just a little bit better than everybody else, and it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't know. The rate they're going, it could be the end of college football pretty soon. I don't know where they're getting all this money.
Well, I'll tell you where they're getting it. Did you see how they brought Lane Kiffin to LSU?
No, I didn't. Yeah.
From Oxford?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful jet that is metallic purple with the beautiful yellow LSU logo getting into a stretch limo that is metallic purple with the LSU logo on it. They've got so much money. They could afford to buy out Brian Kelly's contract at $54 million and can give Wayne Kiffin 92.8 over 7 years. There is so much oil business money at LSU, it's not even funny. And I'm sure Texas is a similar situation. Yeah. You're going to get to the point where you're going to have a handful of schools that are at the very top that have all the best players.
That's going to be
it. I think you've struck on something. I think you're right. I think there's the potential for college football to implode. Do you know why the NFL game football is called the Duke? If you look at an NFL football, it'll say right on it, the Duke. The name of the ball is the Duke.
Okay.
It's named for it's named for Wellington Mara, Duke of Wellington.
Okay.
Wellington Mara said, my New York Giants could get all the TV revenue money. But then I wouldn't have Green Bay Packers, Pittsburgh Steelers, any other teams to play against. And so he argued for an equal division among all NFL teams. So the TV contracts ever since, all the TV money isn't concentrated in Boston and New York and LA. It's spread throughout the league. So lower market teams like the Buffalo Bills, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, like the Packers, can
or the
compete,
Browns.
get
The Cleveland
good
Browns, they
players.
haven't won. I can't remember the last time we've had a winning season. So.
But at least they get a slice of the pie, okay?
Yeah.
And I think you're going to have to see something like that in college sports as well. You can't have a handful of schools at, like 5 schools at the SEC and 2 schools in the ACC and 4 schools in the Big 18. You can't have a competitive national program with just like 10
No, it's no fun. They
each
wouldn't have the
school.
TV revenue, and then nobody would be watching. So you do have to spread it out a lot. Just one last question: the Syracuse Orangemen. I mean, have you been to any of their games? No.
No.
Okay, just wondered. Okay.
Yeah, it's I root them from afar.
Yeah, gotcha.
I go when I can, but I haven't been able to in the last few years. So.
Well, thanks again, Timothy. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you real soon, okay? And keep up all the good work and everything. And
Thanks, Joe. You too.
talk to you soon. Take care.